Welcome back, everybody. It is day 2 of the 31 Nights of Horror reviews. We still haven't come up with a good name yet, but we're still rolling with it. So, for day 2, I went to Shudder and looked up the most watched and most recommended movies on there, and we went with Host. The trailer should be playing there, and if there's not one, there's just going to be an awkward little movie poster of it. But this film pretty much is a quarantine film. That being said, it's made during the time of quarantine. So it's pretty much, I believe it was 5 to 6 friends trying to stay in touch while still being stuck in their home. So the entire thing is a found flick, but it's through webcam. It's a lot like a movie called Cam on Netflix, but it's from multiple perspectives. So pretty much the baseline beginning part of the story is that they are one of their friends does a seance occasionally, and so she wants to hire her person over to kind of show all the girls that this exists and the astral plane's a real thing and stuff like that. And long story short, she tells them one rule, and that is to take things seriously. And in all possession movies, there's always the one friend who doesn't, and all craziness follows. This movie is only about an hour, so if you have an hour in your day and have the free little 7-day trial for Shudder, I recommend it. It was a really fun trip. I watched it with somebody who does not do horror movies. My girlfriend, who is awkwardly staring at me in the corner over here, will not be left in a room by herself right now. So if you have somebody who doesn't care for scary movies, this is one that will mess them up for a little bit. Yeah, she does not like me right now, but that's fine. It's fine for now. So we're going to go by our basic 5 scorings again, which is story, acting, rewatchability, scare factor, and the overall score. So the story for this one's pretty simple. It only being an hour, there's not really a lot that they could kind of side travel off of, or an unnecessary story that they couldn't really fulfill. But since it's only an hour, they kept it kind of tight and kind of everything focused around the seance and them just being in quarantine, which is it should be a hit for right now because not a lot of movies are tackling that subject right now. So the story is simple. It's just basic: survive the night. Once again, this will have no spoilers in it, but it did a lot of things that Paranormal Activity did when it first came out, but in different ways involving webcams, like I believe the last one did. But there's a lot of very creative scares in this one, so that one's kind of interesting. But we'll stick to story for now. Story is simple, quick, easy. It only being an hour film, I'll give it a 7. Everything kind of stuck together well. Every one of the castmates filled their role relatively well. All they had to do was be scared. One, and be kind of annoying. One, kind of be more scared the entire time. And one being a bitch. I'll censor that probably, but probably not. So, story's about a 7, it being so short and kind of easy to compact everything in there. Acting, I think everyone did a pretty good job on this one. Everyone reacted to things as the audience would in the moment. So it's very important that in those quick times there's not that hard delay. Even though that supposedly it's being filmed through webcams, there would be a light delay, and they reacted to it just fine. So all the actors 6s, there's not a lot you can do in a short film like this. Everything over webcam. You can when your only real emotion here is fear and maybe a little bit of jealousy from one character, there's not a whole lot past that. Rewatchability on this one, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Somebody here probably will not be watching that with me. But I think this film can be watched probably 2 to 3 times, so it's probably about a 6 again. Just for trying to notice little things in the back. Much like Paranormal Activity, you'll see a candle go out. You'll see a chair move. You'll see a door crack open. You'll hear a light knock. It's things like that you want to kind of turn the volume up pretty high, but that'll set you up. Or if you're doing it with a large group, it sets everyone up for the obvious hard thump against the wall, hard, quick jump scare toward the camera, and it being found flick, it's jumping at you. So that's another reason why Found Flick's one of my favorites, of course. So rewatchability, probably about a 5 or 6. We'll whatever I decide to put here is what the actual score is. I'm saying it's 5 or 6. I'll probably rewatch it if I have a free hour and figure out what I really think about it. Um, the scares in it were good. And they're good for first time watchers and good for people who don't watch a lot of horror. There's still a lot of creative scares in this one for us who love horror. But of course, it falls under the same thing that we have to compare to Paranormal Activity. Therefore, if you see the basic ghost setup, and there's been so many of these, not recently, but within the past few years, you know what to kind of look for. So you're kind of on the edge, waiting for them to do those things to show how they were able to do this from home, which is really interesting because it seemed like each one of these girls were just filming from their own house. But once again, it's a movie, so who knows? The scares got me a couple of times, and my partner almost every time. Almost every time. She does not like me, but it's okay. So scares for first time watchers, I give this an 8. Like there's a lot of really creative scares in this one, and how it's set up through first camera view is really, really interesting. So it's about an 8. Overall, for a veteran horror, I would probably, just some of the things were really unique about this film. And since it was so short, there wasn't a lot for it to derail to. So it kind of kept everything on track. It was a little slow to start, but once it did start, it was really, really good. So overall, I'd probably give this about a 7.5. So our overall score on this one will be 7.5. We kept this video short because the movie is really short. So if you have Shudder, have 7 days free or a month free, whichever it is, go watch Host. It's really interesting. It's really quick. So that will be day 2 of 31 in our 31 days of horror reviews. I'll catch you on the 3rd whenever I finish it. See you guys.